It's Sunday, April 7th, about 55 degrees, and the bees are definitely flying. So today is a really good day for me to take a deeper dive into the bees, see what's going on. I'm going to look at the brood, see what kind of food stores they have. I want to reverse my boxes, and I might even do some feeding, some sugar syrup feeding, which is something that I typically don't do in the spring, but that's going to be something new for me. And I probably shouldn't be walking around my bees like this without a veil on, because they're flying pretty good. Something's been trying to get into my bees. Something actually did get into them. You can see that right there. That one was a dead out, but something got in. This is a good hive to start with because I'm not seeing any activity at all. Like a week ago, this hive was alive, and there's nothing. Let's see what's going on with it. It was weak to begin with. Yeah, there are some dead bees in there. Unfortunately, it's gone. It's a dead out. It's official. I got my first dead out of the year. No, actually, there's one in there crawling around, but I'd say they starved. There's a couple of them still alive, but there's no helping these bees, unfortunately. Yeah, this really bums me out. This was a nice hive. See, then they're down in those, they're crawled, their butts are out of the cells. You can see that. They starved. I'm like 1 week too late on this. And I was even here last week, and I didn't check this one. If I would have just looked at it. Well, nothing I can do about it now. Okay, let's take a look at these bees here. Since I'm all bummed out now that I lost that hive. It could have been prevented. What do we got here? You basically got honey. Could have swapped a few frames out and saved that other hive. Honey and brood. Nice patch of brood there. We got some bees in here. There's more bees in here now than it went into winter with, that's for sure. There's a drone. I see a drone, no kidding. I got a drone. So this queen, she's laying, she's doing her thing. She's doing what she's supposed to do, but I'm gonna feed them. I'm gonna feed them some syrup. And that's something that I typically wouldn't do on a hive like this. I would kind of let it just, because we got a nectar flow coming. I would let it go typically, but I think I'm changing my stance on that a little bit, because one of the things that usually happens with me is every year, and I rarely, honestly, that's only the second colony that I had lost overwintering in probably 3 or 4 years. But so I do pretty good overwintering my bees. But the problem that I always have is that I come out in the springtime with very small populations. But this population is looking pretty good, actually. So then the bees, when I come out with those small colonies, they spend the rest of the entire nectar flow just building up, and I really don't get much honey out of them. So I'm going to try feeding, see how it goes. But before I do that, I gotta rotate some hives or some boxes and do some manipulating here. And this is the box that has nothing in it. and it's a box that I'm going to do my feeding in. And here we go. Let's get these bees fed. I'm using 1-to-1. Actually, it's 1-to-1, but it's diluted a little bit thinner than that, actually. It'll just be good for just getting the bees cranked up a little bit. Not a little bit, hopefully a lot. Because I want to try to get past that issue I always have of like my hives being underpopulated in the spring. And Bob Binney says this is the way to do it. Get them stimulated. Sucrose sugar syrup. Okay, so they got a pollen patty and they have syrup. And I'm not going to reduce them down. I got bees in this box, not a lot, but there are bees up in there, so this is what it's going to be for them. I think they're going to do okay. Okay, this hive right here, this looks pretty good. I got a lot of brood in here, and pollen. Somebody explain green pollen to me though, because I'm seeing some bees that are bringing green, like bright green pollen. I don't know what that is. But I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames of bees that look like this. Right there's my queen. You probably can't see her, but she's in there. She's busy. She's not marked. I got drones everywhere. Okay, I gotta really keep my eye on this. This could be a swarmer. This is the cutout that I did last summer. It's turning out to be a good hive. Yeah, there's all kinds of brood in there, so this one, yeah, this is a good one. This one might have some swarm cells in it before long. Okay, you see here, this is the pollen patty that I put on last week, and they're already going through that, and that's all. I really didn't put much on because I didn't think they would want anything to do with it, but they're going after it, so I'm going to put another pollen patty on, and then I'm going to give them some syrup. This was one of the undersized colonies that I worked on in my last video. So, here you go, bees. Enjoy your pollen patty. Okay, see this hive here, this is one of my singles that I overwintered, but she's laying in here. There's brood in here. But there's brood all the way up through here on like the next 2 frames, 3 frames maybe. But if you look here, like, oh, there's my queen right there. There she is, running around, marked with a red dot. But there's nothing in here. There's no nectar in here. There's no syrup. There's nothing in here. I mean, there's pollen, but there's nothing else. These cells are dry. So, I mean, they need, and this hive is very light, so they definitely need some syrup. So they're gonna get some, and that should kick them in gear. And actually, they're going after the pollen patty as well. So this is going to help them out quite a bit. So even though this hive is kind of undersized or underpopulated, I think it's probably going to catch up. She's laying pretty good. Now I just got to get her some syrup, and she'll be good. Okay, this is my last hive that I need to do. I didn't video all of them because my videos are getting to be a little bit too long, so I'm trying to keep this one under 15 minutes. But so far, all my hives look pretty good. I had a couple of them that looked at. I'm going to say, give them a little bit of smoke to let them know I'm coming, but they're coming out. Yeah, and they're all up on top, clustering. Get to the bottom of that. It might be that they have no, oh wow, they might not have any feed in here at all, so we need to see what's going on here. I already lost one hive. No, I don't need to do that. Sorry. Trying to be gentle, but that only goes so far, especially towards the end of the day. This queen's laying in the top box and the bottom box, so I just reversed these boxes for nothing, wasted my time, but still I gotta be actually gonna put another box on these. Done. Okay, fence looks good so far. I will say one thing though. I think one of the hardest things about beekeeping is that very first deep dive that you do in a spring, like that first spring inspection, where you got to go down like into the deeps and reverse boxes and clean out the bottom boards and all that. Because I am whipped, and I only had 8 of them to clean. I'm pretty excited though that I have, you know, 8, well, not 8 strong hives. I have probably like 5 strong hives and 3 hives that are like 2 hives that are okay and 1 hive it's got some growing to do. But I think that some of the things that I changed up in my beekeeping, like with my treatments and my feeding and stuff like that, I think that it has worked out for me. Hopefully I see some, you know, big, you know, decent honey harvest this year. One thing I'll say, I've gotten pretty good at overwintering my bees. I don't usually lose bees in a winter, but it's very humbling to know that I just lost a hive, my favorite nuke actually, in the first week of April, and I lost that to starvation. So that's a very humbling experience. If I would have came out here last week and fed that hive, I'd still have it. I did, and I was out here last week. I just assumed that the hive was okay, and so that's the way beekeeping goes. We're always learning. Another thing that I did was I'm using pollen patties, and I said in my last video that I wasn't going to use pollen patties anymore, but I looked at the 10-day forecast here in my area, and we're going to have, it's going to be up in like 50s and 60s for the next couple days, or about the next 2 weeks, but it's also calling for rain, so that's going to set the bees back. So by they're not going to be able to fly, so by hopefully giving them those pollen patties and feeding that syrup, hopefully that's going to help them grow. And I'm excited to see that my bees are taking pollen patties, because the last time I used pollen patties, the bees wanted nothing to do with it. And I think it's because I made my own. So this time I bought pollen patties from Man Lake, and the bees, you know, the bees are taking the pollen patties. As far as the feeding goes, I think I mentioned earlier in the video that Bob Binney has like a really good playlist of feeding bees, and he talks a lot about spring feeding. Maybe, you know, if you're not like really up on your spring feeding, maybe it's something for you to check out. You know, Bob Binney has topics and good information for every beekeeper, whether you're in it, you know, whether it's your first year or you've been in it for 10 years, you can learn something from Bob Binney. He's probably like our #1 YouTube resource as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I'm exhausted. Gotta go home and eat. I just want to drink a water. Anyway, I'm Darren, and I will see you next time.